All right, well, the president has said his new cabinet, which embraces diversity, looks like America. But for many companies and organizations, there isn't that same inclusiveness in the boardroom. One local organization, the African American Board of Leadership Institute, is trying to change all that. And joining me right now is Dr. Kimi Wilson, the recent alum of their program. He joins us now to share his perspective with us. Dr. Wilson, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Let's talk about it. Why is it so important for you to be a voice in the boardroom, and what have you learned from AABLI?
Happy Monday, and thank you for having me, Colleen. One of the things that I learned about the African American Board Leadership Institute is very first thing, it really provided a great network of African Americans who are doing amazing things in diverse industries around the nation. And so one of the things AABLI is very clear about doing is that they're very instrumental in pushing knowledge and preparing us to be board members who are experts in governance, who are experts in finance, and who are also experts in leadership. And this is important because, we have so much expertise, and we also are a unique voice. So the goal is just not simply to just diversify boardrooms, but also to prioritize and center the needs of marginalized communities. And that's the important work that AABLI does. And so I'm a proud alum.
Absolutely, very proud indeed. And you should be proud. You're an assistant professor for the California State University system, which I'm an alum of as well. So we thank you. But let's talk about it. Yeah, San Francisco State. But let's talk about, before you became a university professor, you were a kindergarten to 12th teacher. And as an educator, can you talk about the importance right now of COVID-19 and its impact on students, particularly those in underserved communities?
Wow. The COVID-19, the pandemic, has been challenging for so many communities, right? And so I know everybody's in such a rush to open up the school doors. But before we open up those doors, we're really going to have some hard and critical conversations about remediation. Students have spent a lot of time at home. And so what are we going to do for students of color, particularly Black students, who are actually suffering pre-COVID during face-to-face instruction? And they even lost momentum doing virtual instruction as everybody was just trying to figure it out. So we really need to think about remediation. Also, because kids have been at home with family members and loved ones, we've really got to think about how we're restructuring the school day. We've got to make school more interactive and more engaging and really upending the categorized way and the systematic way that we approach instruction. That's really important. And the last thing I would say, Colleen, is that we really need to think about family and school partnerships. The pandemic has been rough on a lot of families. So schools not only need to support parents in helping their students learn, but they also need to think about how are we using our school sites where we can give knowledge to parents so that they can find jobs and take advantage of the new technological world that we now live in.
I bet a lot of parents are going to go into the teaching field after being teaching their children for almost the last year. But very great information. We certainly wish all of our parents and all of our educators the best of luck as we continue to find our footing with the distance learning with COVID-19. But thank you, Dr. Kimi Wilson, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Colleen.